What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to Show and Tech. So the Galaxy Note 10 Plus dropped last year with a price tag of $1099 for the base model. And while the phone world seems like it is one that moves very, very quickly, I'm here to tell you that if you're not worried about a couple 2020 smartphone standards, then this might still be the phone for you. So the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 Plus features a Qualcomm Snapdragon 855 chip, 256 gigabytes of internal storage, which is expandable, but more on that later. 12 gigabytes of RAM, which is more than my computer, a 6.8-inch Ultra HD AMOLED display, and a beastly rear camera module that features a 12 megapixel wide lens, a 12 megapixel telephoto lens, a 16 megapixel ultra wide lens, and the capability of shooting 4K at 30 and 60 frames per second, as well as 1080p at 30, 60, and 240 frames per second. And finally, 960 frames per second at 720p. So let's start off by talking about the 6.8-inch display that comes with this phone. Now, having a 6.8-inch display means that the phone is going to be very large, and right off the bat, that's going to be off-putting for a lot of people. Now, what I want to say is, while that does have some negatives in terms of its overall portability and how it looks when it's in your pocket, it really is a beautiful and capable display, especially when you consider that it has a 90% screen to body ratio. Now, one thing that I really love about this display is that it's able to get plenty bright. So if I'm outside taking the dog for a walk, or when I was using the phone on the beach when I was in Mexico while the sun was at its brightest, I was able to still use the phone without having any issues at all. Not only that, but having that Quad HD display means that the text is not only going to look very sharp, but you're also going to have immaculate images on your screen. This means you'll be able to enjoy crisp content while streaming movies, videos, playing video games, scrolling through timelines, whatever it might be. Now, I can already hear the 90 hertz slash 120 hertz gang chirping in the back about the fact that this display, having come out in 2019, is only a 60 hertz display. But if you consider yourself to be an average consumer, then that's probably not something that's going to matter to you. Yes, the overall aesthetic of being able to smoothly scroll through your timeline looks great, but if that's not something that you ever had before, then chances are it's really not going to affect your overall day-to-day. While some find the boxy shape of the phone to be off-putting, I personally love the feel of this phone due to the curved edges of the waterfall display. However, that does set you up for some accidental touches if you don't have it laying flat on a table. And as much as I love the feel of this phone in my hand naked, the phone, not me, I strongly recommend at least grabbing a thin case to protect it. So my case of choice while using this phone has been the Spigen Liquid Crystal. Now, in terms of the battery life of the Note 10 Plus, you'll be able to knock out an entire day using this phone easily. It comes packaged with a 4,300 milliamp hour battery. And for those of you who don't care about the numbers, it just means that it's really big. So having a phone of this size obviously means that you can fit a much larger battery inside of it as well. And while some might argue that the Quad HD display requires more juice to run it, and as such, the battery life probably wouldn't be good even though you've increased that battery size. However, they've done it, and for whatever reason, it's been pretty well optimized to make sure that it lasts the entire day. Now, I'm someone that keeps Quad HD on and my brightness on maximum, and I've still had no issues or necessity of charging my phone throughout the middle of the day to ensure that I get to use it late into the night. Now, if you're someone that doesn't care about Quad HD and you'd prefer not to have the brightness set to max, so you have your phone set to 1080p and you're running, 60, 70% brightness, then you'll probably find yourself charging your phone every other day. Now, when you do manage to kill the battery, and you'll be hard pressed to do so if you're that second type of person, you can rest assured because this comes packaged with a 25-watt fast charger in the box. Something that I wish Apple would take note of. As far as the special features go, I'm only going to talk about the ones that I use regularly and in no particular order. Starting off with the S Pen. So the main feature of the Note 10 Plus, or of the Note line in general, has always been that S Pen. I thought that would be super gimmicky, and I find that it definitely depends on the person. I like my S Pen for the ability to have quick turnaround when a document needs to be signed. So rather than printing, scanning, and sending it back, I can quickly just sign it with PDF right on my phone and send it straight back to whoever it is that needs it. I use it very regularly to jot down quick notes or things I need to pick up from the grocery store. And with everybody being stuck at home, I find I've been making a lot of phone calls for customer service reasons. And every time the representative asks if I have a pen or pencil ready to take down a reference number, I definitely do. I even find myself using it for gaming. So when I need that extra precision, maybe it's playing Call of Duty Mobile, or I find oftentimes when I'm playing Clash Royale, I pull the S Pen out and it just makes the gaming experience feel that much more smooth. And then finally, because I've been using this phone for so long to run my channel, it has been great for someone that is a one-man recording crew, so I can use the S Pen as my remote to start recording, especially when I'm shooting things like B-roll. In terms of the other special features, this comes baked with Google Cast for sharing photos and videos right on your TV. Reverse wireless charging, which is something that I use extremely regularly with the amount of truly wireless earbuds that I own, and the fact that my wife's phone is always dead whenever we go out. A beautiful animated always on display, an under the glass fingerprint sensor for quick access to your phone instead of typing in a password or using the pattern. And honorable mention definitely goes to the Edge apps. I just like the idea of being able to quickly swipe over from the side and have another list of curated apps that I use a lot. It just keeps your home screen very nice and clean. Now, my absolute favorite part about this phone, aside from how awesome the back looks, are the cameras. So you've got 4 very capable and very useful cameras in total, and some pretty good software to match. If you want to get the best out of them, then I would recommend downloading Google's camera software, Gcam, for the best possible processing, but really I can't say enough about these. Whether you're using them for spot photography or taking photos and videos while you're out with the family, there really isn't much in terms of negatives, especially nothing near the scale of what we just saw from the S20 Ultra. I honestly can't tell you how many times I've been asked what camera it is that I've been using to shoot my videos on YouTube. So be it family or friends or whoever it is that stumbles on this channel, I often get that question, and it's really awesome to see people's faces when I tell them that everything's been shot just using the Note 10 Plus. And finally, it's really cool that this phone has an IP68 rating, and while I haven't tried it personally, I've seen some pretty awesome underwater videography done with this phone on YouTube without having any adverse effects on the device. So if you're in the market for a new phone and not concerned with having the latest and the greatest, or maybe you just don't trust all the hype after what happened with the S20 Ultra, the Note 10 Plus is still an unbelievable phone with a considerable amount of value for the average consumer, power user, or creative. And so that's pretty much it for me. I really can't say enough about this phone. This was my first ever Samsung device, and obviously my first ever Note device, and I can definitely see why it is that the Samsung crowd generally gravitates towards the Note line. So if you've got any questions about this phone or what else it can be used for, or just general concerns that you might have, feel free to drop a comment down below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thumbs if you like the video, subs if you want to come back. Much love as always, throwing up 2 of them, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.